and welcome to the bonus Christmas episode of Velvet Owl Watches Movies so you don't have to. I wasn't planning on doing two bonus episodes, but I'm overcome with the Christmas spirit. No, because I was just going to do the one bonus episode, and then I found out the existence of this movie, and I had to do it. I could not wait for next year. And I'm kind of upset that none of you fuckers told me that this movie exists. It is called a Karate Christmas Miracle. And I don't know why I have to tell you what it's called, because obviously if you clicked on the link, you probably already saw what the title of this film is. But it's a Karate Christmas Miracle. Oh, it gets better. The description: after his father disappears during a mass shooting on Christmas Day, a 10-year-old hopes that completing a list of tasks will bring his dad home. So, we got a fucking mass shooting in this Christmas film. So, that is kind of just, wow, that already has just blown my mind. And I read descriptions elsewhere online, and one of the tasks is he has to learn karate. So, I am like fucking stoked in how this is going to be. Like, if he learns karate, it's going to bring his dad home. That is just fucking awesome. That is a fucking, like, just brilliant, one of the best, like, plots I've ever heard. This truly is a Christmas miracle that this came across to me in time for Christmas. And it stars Eric Roberts, which is always a plus. And it also has Martin Kove, who you may remember as John motherfucking Kreese from Karate Kid movies and the Cobra Kai series. So I imagine he's probably going to be the one that teaches karate. I am psyched. I am going to stop babbling because I am going to start watching this film. So we start off at the home, which is all decorated for Christmas, and Mom is setting the plates. At first I thought that she probably was going to be like the older sister. She looks kind of on the young side. But when they go close up, yeah, she is definitely like mom age of, young mom. Not a MILF level that porn requires. Because technically, you're a mom, you're a MILF. Because I will fuck you. So, you're a mom, you're technically a MILF because of me. So, but, MILF gets the expectation that they have to be in their 40s. But, technicalities, MILF does not have to be a 40-year-old. So she's setting the table and she hears her son doing some crazy thing. And she goes up to check on him. And he's reciting the presidents backwards. Because apparently this is part of his task. Because I guess it's a thing that he has with his dad where he does he completes his different lists and he can get what he wants. And what he wants is for dad to come home. And apparently one of the things is memorizing the presidents in reverse order. Which Mom, like, he mentions Nixon, and Mom's like, but Nixon was impeached. Which then, son has to explain to Mom, he wasn't impeached, he resigned before he could get to impeachment. So apparently Mom was not paying attention in school. But on top of that, even if he were impeached, he would still be considered a president. I'm amazed that you didn't say the same thing when he mentioned Trump and Clinton, who were impeached. And being impeached did not remove them from being president. So Nixon would still be on the fucking list. Were you just wanting to be like, oh, look at how smart I am. I know that Nixon was impeached. Wow. The hubris before the fall, because you were wrong, Mom. Nixon was not impeached, and it was irrelevant to listing the presidents. And, but it's a moot point because Dad's not coming home. So, I guess we haven't been told yet that it's a mass shooting. So, but, it's the description. So I'm curious how, long it has been. Because she seems, not too concerned. and has given up all hope. So it can't be more than a year, because otherwise this kid would have been doing this last Christmas as well. But I am curious how long he's been missing, that she's not that concerned that, she's concerned, but she's given up all hope that he may be found. So if she's given up hope, this has to be a long time coming. But if it hasn't been, because they haven't identified the dad's body, then is she just ready to move on? What's going on here? How long has your husband been missing, lady? And then the son mentions, oh, did I mention the son's already in his karate getup? Because he is fucking karate master. And he tells mom, like, oh, you didn't notice that I lost a tooth. And she goes crazy, like, you lost a tooth? What? During karate? He's like, no, mom, I'm 10 years old. I lose teeth. Like, fucking mom, I just want to slap her. Like, I guess I could understand you might be concerned that karate is dangerous. But yeah, he's 10. He's in the tooth losing era. So don't worry about your son. At least not as far as karate. Worry about his mental state. So son's at his karate, I don't know if it's a karate meet or a karate practice. He's like doing karate with some other kid, and there's a guy walking around watching them who, I thought it was karate practice, so I thought it was his sensei, but mom asks, like, oh, your teacher, where is he? And son's like, sensei, and it's a she. God damn it, mom. You are young enough to not be presuming shit like this. Like, you gotta be in your 30s. You're a fucking millennial. Because you are not porn MILF age. You are just technicality MILF age. So, you are young enough to know not to presume that the sensei is gonna be a man. There are female senseis. Women can do anything a man can do. I'm gonna slap you again, mom. That's 2 slaps. I will probably not keep a tally of how many slaps, because I'm assuming I'm going to be fucking slapping this mom silly. But, the sensei's not there, which makes me wonder, like, then what the fuck is this? This isn't a practice. Is this an actual meet? But there's no one else around, just mom, who spent most of the time on the phone with someone, because she's running his campaign, I think, and there's going to be some trouble because he's throwing ice balls at kids. So, you know what? I'm voting for this guy. I will vote for the guy that throws ice balls at kids. Because that is a man that is going to get shit done and not care, about stuff like red tape. And then, just blowing my mind because I have no fucking clue what happened. I'm guessing this is a flashback or something. We've got, like, this anorexic girl in a crop top. Yeah, she is like super skinny, like just kind of scary skinny. And I don't know if she's watching like a movie theater, or because it looks like there's a projector and there's Eric Roberts, and you think like, oh, I'm watching Eric Roberts, this is fun times. But I don't think she's watching a movie of Eric Roberts, or maybe she's watching a news telecast, but it seems like she's having a flashback. But I don't know who the fuck she is, because we didn't even really cut to her. It was like a weird, like, side wipe thing. So it felt like this is a memory, and the memory is experiencing a memory. I don't know, but Eric Robert is then, just being creepy and talking about how this town's gonna pay. So I'm guessing he's the shooter. And then we get a newspaper headline that reads, Mass theater shooting survivor speaks. Attorney presumed dead. So I'm guessing, probably crop top girl is the survivor. And attorney presumed dead. But if it was a mass shooting, how long has it been that they haven't found the body yet? You know what? I don't think Dad is dead. I think Dad saw his chance, was like, I am fucking out of here. I am skipping town. And everyone will just think, oh, he was killed in the mass shooting. We haven't found his body. Unless, like, the body's just so fucking mutilated beyond recognition and they can't run, like, tests and shit. So they haven't identified all the bodies. I want to know! How long has it been that they haven't, like, is it that they haven't identified the bodies yet? I don't know. How long does that usually take? Don't they usually, like, within the week, like, identify all the bodies and notify, like, the survivors? And further newspaper headlines tell us that the killer was dressed like a clown. Oh my God, this is the movie that keeps on giving. Like, there's just so much awesome about this, and we're only, like, 5 minutes in. I don't know, can the rest of the movie live up to this? And then tells us there's only one survivor, which is the little anorexic girl. I feel bad calling her an anorexic girl. She's not quite anorexic. She's just very, very skinny. So skinny girl was the only survivor, and an attorney was kidnapped. So I guess that would explain the attorney was probably Dad, so that's why there's no body, and they don't know what happened to him. I don't know how much longer after this is. I don't know. Has Dad been declared legally dead yet? Because Mom has completely written it off. So how long has it been that Mom has lost all hope that they'll find him? Like, I could understand losing hope if they just thought, like, okay, he was killed in the mass shooting. But no, he was kidnapped. So why have you given up hope, Mom? Do you have dick on the side that you're getting and you're like, fuck this, I'm glad he's gone out of my life because now I can go and get this dick guilt-free? No wonder the son hasn't given up hope. He could just be kidnapped. He could be missing. And learning karate is the only way to bring him home because he's going to fight that fucking clown. Probably not, but oh my God, this movie will be the all-time classic, better than fucking Citizen Kane, if it ends with a little kid fighting karate against a clown mass shooter. And if that doesn't happen, Hollywood. This is an idea. I'm pitching it to you. And it turns out that was all a nightmare the little kid was having. A nightmare of things that he didn't see and wasn't there. How could he know it? Is he psychic? No, more likely he just was reading the newspaper clippings that were in the drawer that Mom then finds. So, if he was psychic, that would have made this so much. My God, like, this movie is awesome so far. I'm not going to deny that, but it's also on the verge of being like so much more awesome because it's teasing things that aren't going to happen. Now we're at some sort of criminal law, like, college class, and just super wacky, chipper professor. She's all crazy, and she's offering a Christmas bonus to her class, some extra credit. She sets the scene. She gives an example, because she's giving the example, and the students have to guess. Or, I mean, not really guess, because they're learning, so they should use the things they learned to answer the question. So she gives the scenario, and it's Santa and his reindeer drinking at a bar, and they're fucking, like, 3 sheets to the wind or something. They are just really, like, fucking wasted. And this guy who decides he's going to attack one of the reindeer, Santa's like, oh, not on my fucking watch, dude. And he grabs a chair and kicks the shit out of this vagabond. I don't know if he's a vagabond. Just this other random drinker in the bar. Not an exact quote on her scenario. I'm just giving the basic gist of it. Santa cracks a chair over the skull of someone who's trying to beat up a reindeer. And so she asks, is Santa guilty of aggravated assault, minor assault, some other forms of assault. I don't know. I don't remember. But the little Karate Kid comes in. He's like, none of the above. He's innocent by way of self-defense. Which he's right. Kid is a fucking genius. I don't know if passing law school is one of the tasks he had to do to get his dad back. But if it is, he is doing a good job. Because, the other students should feel ashamed of themselves that a fucking 6-year-old kid, I don't know, did he say he was 6 or was he 10? I think whatever, he's a fucking little kid, and he answered this question before any of the students did. And yeah, he might have had a little head start because his dad's a lawyer, but what? His dad's like fucking teaching his kid about the legal implications of self-defense? I think not. This kid is just a fucking genius and possibly psychic. Oh, did I mention, now I went and like fucking spoiled it, didn't I? So anyhow, the professor has a meeting with Mom. And Mom's a little suspicious because, hey, it turns out the professor knew the kid's name and she knew that the kid's dad was a lawyer. It's funny because Mom actually recognizes the professor. Because it turns out the professor was a psychic that she went to at a psychic fair years and years ago. And, first the professor tries to deny it, like, no, I'm not a psychic. Psychics are fucking crazy. You can't believe that. But no, then she admits it, yes. But she's out of that line of work. She's done with this psychic shit because she has seen fucked up shit. She was helping the police, and that was just too much, seeing all those dead bodies. So no, she will not help Mom to find out if her husband is still alive. Which, you might think she's a bitch for not doing it, but you gotta, think of it from her point of view. It starts off with helping this one lady, then someone else is gonna need psychic help, and before you know it, she's back in the game. So no, she refuses, but Mom leaves a knife, a little switchblade that was her husband's, and because she's hoping that psychic teacher will come along. She will, my mind. I can't think of the phrase. But she's hoping that the psychic teacher will come to her senses and help her out. And the psychic teacher actually thinks, this whole idea of learning karate to bring the father back is not so far-fetched. I don't know why she thinks that, but I'm beginning to think it's not far-fetched because maybe the dad's just disappointed in his son and he sees that the son learned karate and became a black belt in less than a month. He's going to be proud of that son and he's going to want to come back. So, for the record, we've got a kid learning karate to try to bring back his dad that was kidnapped by a psycho clown after a mass shooting, and we have a psychic who may or may not help them along. Again, this is probably the best fucking Christmas movie ever made. Now, back at home, the kid presents his mom with a birdhouse he built. Another bucket item off the list. He's getting closer. Dad's gonna come home. He can feel it. I can feel it. I am in the Christmas mood now, because this film has got me in the Christmas mood. And so the kid then has another nightmare. And he sees Eric Robert talking about punishing people again. And there's now more people in the theater. And then there's his dad, who's talking about constitutional gun rights. Because it's okay to carry guns, but under certain circumstances. So, his mom wakes him up and he's like, you're not seeing visions, you're having dreams based on the newspaper clippings that you read. But he tells her, I saw Dad talking about constitutional gun rights. Kid is fucking genius to, say shit like that. Just not gun rights, constitutional gun rights. And Mom's like, whoa, but that wasn't mentioned anywhere in the newspapers. The kid is a psychic. Yes, I am excited. Because now I have even more hope that we are going to get a fucking karate off between the kid and the clown, who I'm assuming is Eric Roberts. Oh my god, this film could potentially have Eric Roberts getting kicked in the face. Please, please, I have hope. Like the kid has hope that his dad's coming home, I have hope that Eric Roberts is going to get kicked in the fucking face. Now, Mom, she works in marketing, so she's on the phone with her boss, talking about they're going to have some campaign and like Santa's going to be making the gravy for Christmas dinner. I hope this is a campaign for gravy. Otherwise, I don't know. Santa will sell anything. He's a fucking corporate shill. But she's been spending all her time at work ever since the kid's been born. Because that is, the classic Christmas cliche of these movies, that one person is spending all their time at work, that they're missing the Christmas spirit. But on top of missing the Christmas spirit, she's missing her son's life. And that's why his son was so attached to the dad. So she's talking, I think it's a friend, or maybe just someone she found through an ad to be the babysitter for the kid. And Mom tells the babysitter about like the crazy list that'll bring the dad back home. And babysitter, she's like, oh yeah, classic child psychology. It's what they think. She's looking for the approval of his missing father. Which, didn't I mention that? I mentioned that if the kid can get the approval, dad's coming back because dad is disappointed in the kid and he left. I don't think that's what she is saying, but that's what I'm saying. And, but there's the worry of, he completes all these tasks and dad doesn't come back. What's going to happen? Well, then the babysitter asks, well, what does your grief counselor say? And Mom never took son to a grief counselor. Slap! Another slap for the mom. Like, he doesn't need it. He's a smart kid. What the fuck? His dad is missing, probably dead. He needs a grief counselor. Doesn't matter how smart he is for a 10-year-old. You fucking need a counselor. This is a tragedy. This is a big fucking thing that happened in your life. Your husband is missing. And you don't even really seem all that concerned about the fact that, he might even possibly be dead. Who knows? You don't care, and you don't care enough to get your son a grief counselor. You are a fucking horrid mother. I hope dad comes back and takes the kid away from you. So a babysitter takes kid to his next karate class or karate practice or karate tournament. I don't know what they're doing, but he kicks ass and beats the other kid. And I don't know if that means he gets the next belt. I never took karate class. How does the whole belt system work? Like, is it really possible to start from, like, nothing? I don't know what the bottom belt is. Is it the white belt? To black belt in, like, a month's time? I think even less than a month's time. Like, don't they, like, stagger it out that you can't, like, try for your next belt till after a certain amount of time because you need, like, a certain amount of time? Isn't karate also about the mind, not just the physical? I don't know. Someone tell me, is it possible to get a black belt in karate within a month? Just start from nothing to black belt. Meanwhile, Mom is at work because that's what she does. She works, when she suddenly gets a call on her cell. Oh no, it's her husband's number. Is he alive? She doesn't recognize the voice. Mystery person. I don't know, because we're going to have to wait for who she's going to meet up with, because now we're back to psychic teacher, who's also kind of psycho, but she's psychic. And by psychic teacher, she's a teacher that is psychic, not a teacher that's teaching psychicness. And she's trying to tell some example with the Grinch, who, out of guilt, decides to confess to grand larceny, but, there are no charges filed, so what does the prosecutor do in this case? But then she looks at the knife, and she has a flash, or a vision of a clown. spooky clown, and it's too much for her. So she dismisses class, which disappoints the one fucking student that actually showed up. I don't know. Like, she must really love teaching. Because generally, like, I think most teachers, if no one shows up or one person shows up, like, I feel bad for you to actually do this, but everyone else fucked off, so I'm canceling class. I mean, I've had that happen with professors when no one does the homework, or one person does the homework. They're like, fuck this, I'm not teaching class because you kids don't fucking care. And the other question is, why does she have her knife in the classroom? Or not her knife, the dad's knife. Why is it there with her? I mean, I guess she wants to keep it safe, so she just isn't going to lock it in her drawer in her office. But why? Why do you have it with you? You know it could possibly fucking trigger something, and you don't want to get back into the psychic life, but it's going to draw you in because you fucking just leave that knife laying around where you can just glance upon it. So the mom's now at a diner where she was told to meet Jay, owner of the diner. And they're doing a feeding for unfortunate families, poor families that don't have money to eat food. Because this is a very nice diner, and Jay is a very kind, giving man. But she doesn't know what Jay looks like, so she sees this black guy at the counter and asks, "Are you Jay?" And he's like, "Do I look like a Jay? Jays are birds that are blue. I am blue. Do I look blue to you?" Which, I don't know, kind of, it would have been racist of her to look at you and say, "Oh, that's not a Jay." Especially since I fucking know black people named Jay. Jay is a name that black people have as well. Anyways, he's just fucking around. And Jay, who is not him, who is another guy, comes out and has the father's phone, and he left it. They don't know when it was left there. It was just found. Because apparently the father, he would do helping out there in charity work with helping to feed the poor, which mom didn't know. Because she knows nothing about her family. Slap! I don't know, I think we're up to 4 or 5 slaps for this woman. For, do you not know that, your husband is out doing stuff? You just assume, oh, he's just at the office late. And does he not tell her, "Oh, by the way, honey, I might be a little late for dinner. I gotta go feed the poor." And then she gets a call from the psychic teacher, because the psychic teacher has something urgent to say, but they have to do it at the karate dojo place. And at home, the kid's telling the babysitter what all the belts mean. And if you really care, you can Google it. I'm not repeating all. But he only knows up to the purple belt, because that's as far as he's gotten. Luckily, the psychic teacher knows the rest of the belts and explains it to mom. Why? I don't know. Why can't she just get to the fucking point? She, just goes on a roundabout way. But anyhow, the knife wasn't used during the shooting incident. It was just a knife that he had on him, because he teaches self-defense classes at the women's center, at the karate dojo. Self-defense classes for women. Which, whoa, mom didn't know that either, because she knows fuck all about her family. Now, the skinny survivor girl, she's in the theater. She's the only one. And I don't know if this is something that's really happening, or is this just a vision that the kid's having, or maybe it's a vision the psychic teacher is having. But she's watching the screen, and the clown is on the screen, and he takes off his mask, and it's John fucking Kreese. Motherfucking John Kreese, who, from what I can tell of the video she's watching, is her dad, and he's gifting her the big Palace Theater, or maybe a carnival, because he's standing in front of a carnival and not in front of the theater, but it's hers. So, here's my guess on what's going to happen. Eric Roberts is the shooter, and he was upset because he probably wanted the theater, and he's mad that she got the theater, and she's the only one that survived the big shooting, and dad just disappeared. Little kid's dad, not Survivor Girl's dad, who is motherfucking John Kreese. And then now I'm pretty sure this is the kid's dreams. A bunch of like really creepy looking people are just telling him about Christmas and he has to get the black belt, and I don't know. I was just too scared from seeing these people to really pay attention to what they were saying. So the kid wakes up and tells his mom about the dream he had, seeing that this girl, the Survivor Girl, she got the theater as a present from her father on her birthday, which was Christmas of last year, the day that his father went missing. So at least now I know how long it's been. Dad's been gone for a year, so I guess that's why mom's like not so much concerned anymore. So yeah, I mean, if he's been missing a year, right? That should be long enough to have him declared legally dead. The kid has not given up hope. And he tells her that this is the last she can speak to him, because from now until Christmas Day, he has to remain silent and focus only on getting the black belt, because that is going to bring dad back. And then he starts doing sit-ups in his bed. This kid is fucking dedicated. Now, you would think that maybe mom would then look up the numbers of good grief counselors that are going to work on Christmas Day. Which, who knows, maybe it's not useful anyhow because kid's not going to speak until he gets his black belt. But still, try that. No, she doesn't try that. She goes to talk to the psychic lady at a bar, and they get drunk. And she's wondering, like, you know, are the spirits trying to tell me that I completely, like, ignored my husband? And it's like, yeah, you know jack all about him. You didn't know that he was teaching defense classes, and he had a black belt, and apparently he tutored kids and helped feed the homeless. He did a lot of fucking shit, and you did not know anything about it, because you're a fucking neglectful mom. Sorry, you're trying to, you know, pretend you're a great mom and a great wife and all that, but you know jack shit about your husband. And the fact that he wasn't having an affair, even though you were completely ignoring him, which granted, I'm not trying to say he would be justified if he had an affair, but I'm just saying, like, he is such a stand-up guy, and he fucking stood by you. You couldn't even bother to find out, like, all this shit he's doing, all this good shit for the good of the neighborhood. No wonder, like, so how are you supposed to help your son get through the grief of your dead husband, who's not really dead, but he might be legally dead, maybe. I don't know. Why haven't you had him declared legally dead yet? Back home, mom, who I just realized kind of looks like Sarah Silverman. She's completely drunk, and she's talking to the babysitter, and she's like, am I a terrible wife? And, you know, the babysitter calms her down and gives her some coffee to try to help undrunk her. That should be a term, undrunk. And, you know, talks to her, and mom realizes, I should grieve because my husband has been fucking missing for a year. Yeah, it's okay to be upset and miss him and want him back. So it's been a whole fucking year without him, and you haven't grieved. And that's not to shame people who, like, can't grieve, because it's a different process for everyone, but, you know, it's okay. It's gonna be okay, Mom. It's gonna be okay. And, you know, she just admits that she wants Dad back. And, you know what, Mom? You too should get a black belt. Because maybe if both of you have a black belt, that's gonna double the chances of Dad coming back. Now, the kid gets up, and he makes a phone call to John Kreese, like motherfucking John Kreese. How does the kid even have his number? And they have some philosophical talks about philosophy and how karate is going to bring his dad back. The kid's dad, not John Kreese's dad. I don't know what's the deal with John Kreese's dad. But turns out it's just a dream. Which is good, because I was kind of worried about why this kid had John Kreese's number and could just call him. And plus, you know, breaking his rule of not speaking until Christmas, dude, you just fucking fuck things up now. your dad's not coming back because you fucking spoke. But it's just a dream, so it doesn't count, I guess, really. But something clicks in him and he gets up and runs somewhere. I don't know. And next morning, mom's hungover at work. And I hope that the kid stayed home. I hope he didn't, like, run out in the middle of the night. Because in that case, another fucking slap for you, mom, for being, like, the most negligent mom of the year and not noticing your kid's not home before you go to work. But, you know, I don't know that's the case, so I can't hold it against you yet. But she's hungover, and she's got to get her shit together because it's the day of the big meeting, and it's a very important client, and they got to land the contract. But then, psychic teacher shows up because she had another vision, sort of possibly the dad being somewhere. But mom just can't, you know, she's giving up. She doesn't think he's coming back home. Which, mom, really, you gave up a long fucking time ago. You have not acted disturbed or upset at all, at least during the remainder of this movie. During the duration of this movie, you have not been upset. So, sometime before this movie takes place, you gave up. And so she no longer needs the assistance of the psychic teacher. Which, are you going to do her dirty like that? She did not want to get back into the psychic game, and you fucking pulled her in. And now you're just going to be like, nope, you go ahead. Your visions suck. Lady, you suck. My mom doesn't have time for this shit. She's got that meeting to go to, which she can't find because she's walking all around the building that there seems to be no one there. And isn't this like the day before Christmas or a couple days before Christmas and this big client wants to have a meeting? They can't. And like I'm not sure what is the time frame, because this ad campaign, if I remember correctly, involves Santa, so it's a Christmas theme campaign, right? So it should have been well before Christmas that they fucking set up this campaign. They should have set it up in like summertime to make sure they had everything ready to go for the holiday seasons. Fucking client. Or maybe they're planning a summer campaign, which, okay, but still, you can't wait till after Christmas. This fucking client. But she can't find her way while Psychic Lady is, like, just following her all around and telling her sob story of how the reason she left the psychic game is because she had a vision that saw her fiance die. So she broke up with her fiance in the hopes that if they broke up and weren't getting married, he wouldn't die. And he stopped speaking to her. So she has no idea if he's still alive or not. She doesn't know if it will work. But it's not too late for mom to realize the error of her ways. Because, you know, the husband might be gone, but she's got to do it for her son. So mom agrees, like, okay, let's meet up at this place where you had the vision of where my husband might be. And it's a gazebo by the school. And she's wondering, like, well, gazebo, why am I here? But then she sees a sign, and it's dedicated to her husband because he helped build the gazebo. Again, lady, you know fuck all about your husband. And apparently she was supposed to meet him there, but she was late because she was stuck at work. So she missed. So I'm going back to my theory that Dad isn't dead, and he wasn't kidnapped. He just saw an out, and he left because he's fucking unappreciated. I'm going with that. Now at home, the son's practicing his karate moves, and mom's painting the birdhouse, and she does a terrible job, I guess. I don't know. She calls it terrible. I didn't really get a good look at the birdhouse to really say, like, if it's a good job or not. But she doesn't like it, but the son does. I mean, he doesn't say so. He gives her a thumbs up because, remember, he's doing this whole, like, I can't speak until I win the black belt and dad comes back home. Which means he might never speak again. I am curious, like, this film, like, that is a very real possibility. with this film is that the dad's never coming back home. And I don't know if I find myself rooting for the dad to come home and a happy ending, or for this kid to get like psychologically fucked up by the dad not coming home. Either way, you know what? This is awesome. Because with fucking Christmas movies, you can tell right away, like, okay, everyone's going to end up happy in the end and everything's going to work out. And the woman gives up her big city job to get some good dick at the country house or whatever. I don't know which way this film is going yet. And there's only like 15 minutes left. This film could really like just disappoint me and make me sad, and the dad doesn't come home. But more importantly, it could disappoint me by not having Eric Roberts get kicked in the face. I don't know which one's going to make me sadder. But I'm supposed to talk about the plot of these films, right? I forget what was going on in the story. Oh, so yeah, she paints the birdhouse, and then I might be getting this out of order now. I think she goes to see the kid do his karate, and I don't know if he wins the black belt or not. He wins his fight, so I don't know if he's now onto a black belt yet. Because it's Christmas Eve day, and she goes into her work, and the boss is all mad, like, you just walked out on the presentation yesterday. Which means the presentation was held on Christmas Eve. Which just is bonkers to me that you're doing it so close to Christmas for an advertising campaign that is based around Christmas. That is still, like, fucking me up. And he's mad, but, she's like, look, my husband was killed last year on Christmas. Or disappeared. We're not sure which. And boss is kind of like grumble. And I don't know if he's letting her off the hook or if he's just pissed off. So she goes to go pick up the psychic teacher, who for some reason is doing like a conference call with maybe a student or something, and giving a potential legal case of Frosty the Snowman being melted by snow. And I don't know. This psychic lady is just kind of driving me insane with her weird, like, Christmas cases. I don't know. Is this how legal school goes? I don't know. I should ask my friend Brian. He's been through legal school several times, and I have faith that he will eventually pass the bar. So I should ask him if they teach things like this. Now, the psychic lady has another vision, and it's a lot of shit being thrown at her and at me. So I'm going to try my best to kind of go down what's going down. So Eric Roberts is giving like a speech about what you've taught me. And I don't know. And then it keeps jumbling back and forth. And then the video with John Kreese telling his daughter, like, this is real for some reason. Like, no, this is real. Like, so is he speaking to his daughter, or is he speaking to the psychic lady, telling her that what she's seen is real? And something about someone protect someone. And then the daughter, who's the sole survivor, remember, she's in the hospital and she's visited by the dad, not her dad, the missing dad, which is kind of weird because, as mom says, he disappeared during the shooting when Eric Roberts escaped. So how could he have visited this girl in the hospital afterwards? Which leads more credence to my theory that the dad just bolted. He went to make sure that the sole survivor was okay and then left. He intentionally left his family. He saw an out. This film is still making a very strong case for that. But, I mean, on the bright side, if it is that he just left because his wife was fucking negligent to him, then, there's hope that he will come back home when he sees, like, oh, she painted the birdhouse. She is a good mom now. So keep that hope, lady. Or maybe he died. I Seriously, we're at like 12 minutes left in this movie. I am like so like on the edge of my fucking seat to find out how this all gets resolved. Like, do they catch Eric Roberts? Is there going to be a big shootout? Oh, please let there be a big shootout. At the very least, please, kicked in the face. Although I'm losing hope that it's going to be the little kid that kicks him in the face. But Dad knows karate too, so maybe Dad will kick him in the face. I don't know, but I am excited. Let's see where this goes. Now they go to the bar because the psychic lady gets the feeling like, okay, something very important is here, something that they need to know. And they go, but it has nothing to do with the dad. See, the psychic lady's ex-fiance is there. And you may be thinking to yourself, and? So what? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? But don't you realize what that means? Because she had the visions that her ex-fiance was dead. Oh, wait, no, she didn't actually have visions that he was dead, just that he would die if she married him. She didn't know that he was dead, or at least she didn't have visions that he was currently dead, because she didn't want to risk it and find out if she really was dead. But she thinks like, well, if my visions of him being dead are wrong, then my visions of the dad being alive has to also be wrong. Which, of course, lady, if you then take that, then every single fucking one of your visions is wrong, isn't it? And it's not, I think. I don't know. Have we found out how many of her visions have been right? They must have been a pretty good, like, percentage-wise if she has continued to think that, you know, she is psychic. So, I don't know. You're giving up faith just because your ex-fiance's still alive. But this leads her to the conclusion that, you know, the dad's not coming back home because he is here in spirit. They needed to show the mom everything that the dad did because, remember, at least in my opinion, dad has hightailed it because mom was fucking horrid and not realizing anything that was going on. And now that she knows, he'll come back because he'll be like, okay, now I can be with you because now you understand and you can truly appreciate me. So mom invites psychic teacher over to Christmas dinner. And, you know, and the mom's parents are there and kids, you know, practicing his karate. And then apparently he does some charades to let them know that he can start speaking again as soon as he breaks the board with his fist. And that will earn him his black belt. Which is just kind of laying around there. Doesn't he already own the belt then? Didn't he already win the belt? And if not, like, doesn't, like, someone certified from the karate board have to, like, overview this and be like, yep, and he won the belt. He earned his karate belt. No! This can't be. Like, he could just willy-nilly decide he's a black belt and win. And then, of course, it's a Christmas fucking miracle. As soon as he breaks the board, who shows up in the house? Dad! I'm home! I escaped, he says. And everyone hugs and it's a Christmas miracle and the end. And no! I have so many questions. First of all, why did Eric Roberts not get kicked in the fucking face? B, okay, I can understand you want, you know, to make sure your family knows you're okay, but you don't go to the police first? And how did you escape? Where were you being held? And more importantly, why didn't you go to the police so that they could fucking go get Eric fucking Roberts? And hopefully kick him in the face. I don't care. My headcanon is that he kicked Eric Roberts in the face. And then when he found out that his wife painted the birdhouse and was now being more attentive to his son, he decided to come back. Because just so many questions. Just why? I'm going to rewind this back Okay, for some reason I thought he was in a Santa suit. He's not in a Santa suit. Because that would have added another fucking question I don't need. Yeah, the film's gonna fucking end like that, depriving me of Eric Roberts getting kicked in the face. But no, so many questions. I guess, who cares? Who cares if Eric Roberts gets brought to justice for this fucking mass shooting? Because you're home with your kid and your awful wife. That's what really matters. I hope your next step really is going to the fucking police after this. Just, why? And this film had such promise. This film was like just fucking bonkers insane, and it just kind of ends like that. I'm currently fast forwarding through the credits to see if, okay, maybe there's a post-credit scenes where Eric Roberts gets kicked in the face. Or, we just find out he's brought to justice or something. Just, please, you can't end the film like that. Too many, loose plot threads. Just, I don't know, maybe I have to go watch Best of the Best to go see Eric Roberts get kicked in the face. Because I really, really fucking want to see Eric Roberts get kicked in the face, and you failed me, movie. I was rooting for you, film. This whole time, I was very much for you. I was gonna recommend you to people, but that ending has just fucking ruined it all. I am angry. I am no longer in the Christmas mood. This film, yeah, I was in the Christmas mood until this movie ruined it for me. So, but don't let this ruin your Christmas mood if you're listening to this on Christmas. If you're listening to after Christmas, let it ruin your mood because you have time before the next Christmas season starts again. So you'll get over it. velvetowl@hotmail.com, or leave a comment on the YouTube page if you have a suggestion for a movie to watch, or if you just want to tell me how much this show sucks. Which does leave me the question that if you think it sucks that much, how did you last this long to to listening to my podcast? But anyways, I love you all. Good night. Or good afternoon, or good morning. It's very presumptuous of me to assume what time of day you're listening to this, but I love you anyhow. And I want to thank the Living Brain Dead for providing the official theme song for Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have to. It's called Never Fuck With Catgirls, and you can get it at livingbraindead.com, which you should totally do. They are not paying me for this, so I shield them out of my love for the music.